Hello everyone, and thank you for watching. I want to discuss independence, also known as economic freedom in Africa. And then I want to show you that it was actually a failure, it was a total failure, and black people want nothing out of it. The reason why it was a failure is because black people were not ready to be economically independent. And they proved it because after they were given independence, everything they touched just slowly died. If black people were intelligent, black people would have fought for economic integration. That would have been a much better idea and things would have turned out, good for black people. But no, these guys decided we want to take things into our own hands because it's our country, it's our continent. We want to control our own economies, we want to do what we want. And so they were given independence, economic freedom. And then everything they touched slowly died. There was no progress after independence. Economies didn't grow after independence. Nothing, turned out good after independence. Everything just turned out so badly because black people were not ready for it. And what's worse is black people had no plan. Black people had no strategies. It's like, what are we going to do once we have our own economy in our hands? Well, we don't know, but it doesn't matter. Let's just kick out the white man and then we're going to see. That was a stupid idea and everything just turned out bad. It's like these guys promised black people, food. Do you not eat healthy food? It's because of white people. Help us kick them out. You're going to eat food. And what happened is after independence, food became scarce. And more black people started to die of hunger. These guys said to black people, do you not have high-paying jobs? Well, it's because of white people. Help us kick them out. We will give you good jobs. And what happened is there was a massive job loss in Africa after independence. Because what happened is these companies that were run by white people were now run by incompetent black people. And those companies just collapsed. And so many people, lost their jobs. It's like everything just turned out to be, terrible after independence. Now, allow me to just highlight the fact that white people came to Africa and found nothing. There was literally nothing, and everything there is now was built by the white man. It's like all the cities in Africa were built by white people. After independence, black people didn't build any new cities. It's like any form of development was built in Africa by the white man. I think of education, I think of hospitals, I think of infrastructure, roads, all these things, electricity, water. These things are things that white people brought. Black people didn't have all these things. So white people brought these things, and then black people decided, okay, cool, you've brought these things, now we're going to kick you out. After independence, not a single new city was built in the Congo. And it's the case for most African countries. No new cities were built before independence. No, actually, before white people came to Africa, no new cities were built. After independence, no new cities were built. So what does this prove to you? It proves to you that had the white men not come to Africa, no cities were going to be built in Africa because black people did nothing before white people came. And after white people left, black people did nothing. And so I need you black people to understand that everything that we have in Africa was built by the white man. And so the white man has done more for Africa than black people have done for themselves. But it's going to take intelligent black people to understand these things. If you're black and you're stupid, you're not going to understand these things. And so why did the black man actually kick out the white man? I don't think the black man actually cared about himself. Or, I don't think he cared about other black people. These black people that were the leaders of these, independence movements, well, the ones with, intelligence and the ones with good ideas were killed. I think of Patrice Lumumba, he was killed. I think of Thomas Sankara, like all these good, independence or, freedom or economic growth activists were actually, killed. And then the ones that took power after independence, they only cared about themselves. They didn't care about black people. These are people that just looked at successful white people and they said, well, white people have cars, white people have big houses, white people have domestic workers. We also want those things. But how do we get those things? We must kick out the white man. And so they used the population to come and kick out the white man because they envied what the white man had. But the thing is, these guys didn't understand that the white man works hard for things that he has. And back in those days, these white people, all the things that they had, all the cars, the big houses, domestic workers, was because they worked hard and they make good decisions with their money. And then these black people come, They take over and everything just collapses because they didn't, look to know how does the white man, maintain this economy and how does he grow it. They didn't care about that. They just came, they said, leave. We're taking things into our own hands. There's a biblical story about this. The prodigal son, he's got a rich dad. His dad has servants, his dad has everything. And he lived with his dad, so everything his dad had was also his. But he wanted to be financially independent. So he tells his dad, just give me my money, give me my inheritance, and I'm going to leave. I want to go live on my own. He didn't ask his dad what his dad did to maintain the wealth that he had. He didn't ask his dad what he did to actually get all the wealth that he had. He just said, well, just give me my money. I'm going to leave. I want to be financially independent. And so he goes. His dad gives him all his money. He goes and he wastes all of it. And then he ends up being a servant somewhere and he starts to sleep and eat with the pigs. And then he remembers, well, in my dad's house, in my father's house, I had servants. Here I'm a servant. In my father's house, I had pigs. Here I'm eating with the pigs and I'm sleeping with the pigs. And so he goes back to his father's house. And that's exactly what black people did. Black people looked at white people. They didn't look to understand how white people actually, do, like what white people do to maintain wealth and to grow wealth. They just said, we want these things. And so they took power and everything just failed. If black people were intelligent, they would have had a plan at least. If black people said, well, we've got 100 good doctors per province, we've got 100 university professors in each province, we've got 100 accountants in each province, we've got 100 architects in each province. Well, with all these competent people, we can attempt independence or economic freedom. But no, black people had no competent people, not one. Black people didn't have people that, will have worked and will have done, a good job to grow economies. And that's the reason why after independence, everything just collapsed and everything just, failed. So independence was a total failure. And why do I highlight the fact that independence was a failure and the fact that these black people were incompetent? It's simply because I want to create a new society of black people. I want to create a new society of intelligent black people, a new society of competent black people, a new society of black people who don't behave like stupid people, like animals, a society of black people who behave like civilized people. I want to create that society because with that society, we're going to grow. As black people, our grandfathers made mistakes, our fathers made mistakes. And so we're not trying to repeat those mistakes. We're trying to be, more intelligent. We're trying to be more competent. We're trying to do a better job than they did. We're trying to grow our economy. I don't know, but as a black person, I'm tired of being, disrespected by the whole world. I'm tired of the world looking at us like we're stupid. I'm tired of the world looking at us like we're animals. And I'm pretty sure that all of you black people are tired to be, regarded as stupid people. And so we need to make better decisions. We need to be competent and we need to work. And so now the biggest question is, can black people develop themselves? Can black people grow economies without the help of white people? My answer is no. And there's many reasons. The first one is that black people don't have money. White people have money. And that's the reason why Africans always borrow money from the West whenever they want to, try something. So that proves that black people can't get developed by themselves. Black people can't grow economically by themselves. They need white people. And so if you ask me, what's my plan? My plan for Africa is just that we need to work with white people. And we need to actually get white people back in governing Africa. I don't believe in black people governing just because it's Africa. I don't believe in that. I believe in competent people. So if we look around us and we don't see competent black people and we see competent white people, let's vote for the competent white people. For all these years of independence, black people have done nothing. They have failed. And I promise you right now, everywhere in Africa, if you put a white president, if you give him white ministers and white army generals, Africa will grow. I'm not saying only white people are competent. We have competent black people, but it's just I'm saying you black people need to stop voting for people just because they're black. If someone is black and he's stupid, don't vote for him. If a government or a party is black and they're stupid and they're incompetent, don't vote for them. If there's white competent people, vote for them. Because we need competent people. We don't need stupid people. We need competent people to govern. And back when white people were governing Africa, things were good. Well, I know there were a few injustices, but those things were coming to an end. Black people were just rushing everything. And so I believe in competent people. I don't believe in stupid people. And so we need to work with white people. Our grandfathers and our grandfathers and fathers hated white people. That's no problem. Our generation of black people, we need to be more intelligent. We need to be smarter. And we need to realize that we need to work with white people because white people have money and we need money. So we need to work with them. How do you kick out the only people that have the money? It's not going to work for you. We need white people. That's something that we do. We do need white people. I know many of you black people always say, no, we don't need white people. No, we do. We do need white people because white people have money and white people are competent people. So we need to work with them if you want to grow Africa.